With so many video game franchises out there now, it only makes sense that some of them would fall by the wayside. It's sad, but it happens, even to some truly great series. In this video, I'll be talking about 5 dead gaming series that I think should absolutely return. Sega just recently announced the revival of a number of their long dormant series, which was awesome to see and gives me hope that it could happen for other series as well. Just goes to show that anything can happen. As for what constitutes as a dead series, well, it's hard to say exactly, and I guess it depends who you ask. For the sake of clarity, I'm gonna go ahead and say that a series that's gone about 2 console generations or more with no new releases are eligible for this list. So for Kid Icarus, for example, Kid Icarus Uprising came out in 2012, which I know was quite a while ago, but it was on the 3DS, which was only discontinued more recently. So I'm gonna consider it not dead, even though it kind of is. But for series with their last game on something like Wii or Xbox 360, I see those as being dead series. Feel free to disagree with me if you'd like, but that's kind of where I draw the line, because it's really all kind of arbitrary. So yeah, with that out of the way, here we go. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't like Ice Climber. Its controls are awful, and despite being created by Nintendo, I just personally don't think it's a very good game. But I love those adorable little climbers, and I think a modern Ice Climber game could actually work. For one, actually make it good to control. But beyond that, they could make a whole bunch of interesting worlds that involve more of a vertical traversal. As a huge fan of Jumping Flash on the PlayStation, I like the concept of levels laid out more vertically. It's cool and unique. It definitely wouldn't need to be an open world Breath of the Wild level game or anything like that. Just some good platforming gameplay, maybe some unique gimmick involving the 2 ice climbers at once, and a modern Ice Climber game could be a lot of fun. I don't really have much else to say. This is probably the least interesting series I want to return on this list. I just want to see those adorable little ice climbers again, outside of Smash Brothers. I'm sure it's no surprise that the Bear and Bird duo are making this list. Banjo-Kazooie is one of my favorite 3D platformers ever made, and I'd love to see a new collectathon with these two again. It's been way too long. Collecting jigsaw pieces to open up new worlds while also collecting music notes, honeycomb pieces, and other stuff is such a good blueprint that would still work really well in a new game. These guys got added to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and there's been constant merchandise with them. So people definitely like these characters, and the demand to see them again is definitely there. They just kind of need to make a new game at this point. The last game in the series was Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts for the Xbox 360, but as I'm sure many of you know, this wasn't exactly a traditional Banjo-Kazooie game and not really what people wanted. I won't go into that game because that's a whole other topic, but when it comes down to it, the last true 3D Banjo-Kazooie experience was Banjo-Tooie, which was well over 20 years ago at this point. I know 3D platformers aren't quite as popular as they were when Banjo-Kazooie was first released, but when they're done right, they can certainly do well. And I think it's time for Banjo and Kazooie's grand return. Okay, obviously I have to mention Nights into Dreams. The original Nights is a very special game to me, but it's short. Like, really short. They absolutely cannot release a new game with the same level of content in this day and age as a retail release. Everyone would rip it apart online, and that would make me very sad. I would not like that. But the game itself is so unique. It has such an arcadey feel that doesn't quite fit firmly into any specific genre. When people ask me what type of game Nights is, I honestly don't know what to tell them. It's kind of just something you have to experience for yourself. The sequel on the Wii, Nights Journey of Dreams, tried to fix the whole short length issue by adding cutscenes, overworld areas, and a whole ton of extra missions. The result was It's an okay game, but it definitely didn't captivate me like the original did. I think if Sega were to make a new Nights game, they should definitely lean more to what they had with the first game. Obviously make the levels themselves bigger, and maybe keep the overworld areas as well, and just, I don't know, I'm not the game dev here. But with Sega bringing back so many of their old franchises, I can only hope that Nights is somewhere on the roadmap. This series has such a charm to it, and it never quite got the recognition that it deserved. I guess I'll keep dreaming. Speaking of Sega, here's another series from them that I would love to see make a return. I recently made a video all about my history with the Virtua Fighter series, which you should totally watch if you haven't already. But to sum it up, this series is special to me and I love it. I suppose this one's kind of a gray area when it comes to making this list because technically there was a new Virtua Fighter release on PS4 in 2021. But that was just a re-release of Virtua Fighter 5, which originally came out in 2006, so I'm counting it here. Fighting games are kind of more popular than ever right now, so on one hand, now would be the best time to bring Virtua Fighter back. On the other hand though, it'd be up against some tough competition, and I have to acknowledge that Virtua Fighter doesn't have the same level of recognition as Tekken when it comes to 3D fighters. I have to stress here that I'm not by any means a competitive fighting game player, but I find Virtua Fighter 5 really good to control, so I have faith that they can make Virtua Fighter 6 truly awesome. When it comes down to it though, I just really like these characters and I want to see them come back. Especially that asshole Leon. As well as Knights. Virtua Fighter should definitely be on Sega's list of series to bring back. I just mentioned the series a few minutes ago when I was talking about Ice Climber, but really, if there's any series involving vertical traversal that needs a comeback, it's Jumping Flash. Why have there not been any new Jumping Flash games released for decades now? This was such a solid concept. I mean, Metroid Prime proved that first-person adventure games with lots to explore can be amazing. So like, imagine that but with the ability to jump really high. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah, it would be. I just love the way this game and its sequel plays so much. And even with its tiny worlds on the PS1, it's so much fun. I just want this concept realized on modern hardware so badly. I know Sony mostly focuses on the darker, grittier, and more cinematic series for the PlayStation brand now, but I sure would love for them to squeeze in a Jumping Flash sequel between their 6th remaster of The Last of Us. Probably won't happen, but you know, it'd be nice. I'll keep my expectations low, but my dreams will remain sky high. So those are 5 dead gaming franchises that I personally would like to see make a comeback. Who knows if it'll happen for any of these, but stranger things have happened. If Bubsy can come back from the dead, then any series can, I'd say. What do you think? What series would you like to see return after years and years of nothing? Let me know. I always like hearing what you all have to say. Thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a hat-stackin' good day.